In this lesson, I want to share something with you that's near and dear to my heart in Photoshop, but I also think is a bit of a game changer when it comes to working with images inside of Photoshop. Linking smart objects. Now, as a test, go right up to the word File on the pull-down menu, and you should see Place Embedded, Place Linked, and Package. Now, if you don't see all three of those, go out to the Creative Cloud site and download the latest version of Photoshop. What's the difference between embedding and linking? That's a good question. When you embed an image into Photoshop, into a layer, you're saying to Photoshop, give me a copy of it. And you know what? When you're done, throw the original away. I don't need it anymore. When you link, you're saying to Photoshop, keep an eye on the original for me. And if anybody changes the original, I want to see the changes reflected in this document or documents. So the obvious advantage here is, say you're working with multiple designers working on the same project. You're sharing those assets. Designers are making changes. The changes are reflecting instantaneously inside of the documents, and you're saving time, but you're also being consistent. Now, here's my example for you. Got a poster, The Wild Leaves. They're going on tour, and they're going to be in 5 cities for 10 days. So we need 5 different posters. Now, I only have 2, but if you can do this twice, you can do it 100 times. And if I come over here, you can see this one and this one. Now, notice there are things that are the same, like the logo, information down here, the footer. But there are some things also that are different. The things that are the same, if you're working smart, should be linked. Actually, I already have some of this set up to save time, but I will take you through the procedure. Let's go into footer. Common bottom bar is a linked smart object, and how do I know that? Now look right down here. See that icon? That is all I need to see. I know this is a linked smart object. Now, if you don't have it open, I'm going to come up here and open up my properties. And if you don't see it, go to the word window. You'll find it. When I select this layer, properties lights up. I have an edit content button right here. Remember what linking is. Linking is linking to a physical file somewhere. If I click edit content, I am literally opening up that file. See right up here. Now what I'm going to do is add something. So we're going to go into File, this is how you do it, and go into Place Linked. Now what I want is the PlayFest logo right there. And I'm going to place it. And yes, if you're thinking this, I am placing a linked document inside of a linked document. It's kind of interesting, but it does work. Come down here, make that a little bit bigger. Double click. And I've got my Move tool selected, so I'm just going to drag it over real quick, just like that. I can get nice and pretty and fancy by using my up and down arrow keys if I so choose. I'm happy with that. I put it on the footer. The footer is a linked smart object. I'm going to close this one out. We're going to say Save, of course, and watch what happens. There it is. There it is on that one. Total control. It's changed based on the linked original. That's where the power is. Now you'll notice I do have one up here too, and that's the same one. If I come over here into PlayFest logo, you will notice there it is, and that too is linked. So they're all connected together. Let's say marketing comes in and decides they want a change of color on one of these, or actually on all of them because it's a logo. We can do it a couple of ways. But say we come back over into this one right here. We go into footer, we select it, and we go back into edit. Now understand you could do it from the other one that was at the top because they're all the same thing. If I select this here by coming over here, there it is, PlayFest logo, and go into edit content. Let me pull this back for a second. They want the letter F the same color as the letter S. Now I know the numbers for those colors, so I'm going to double click on the F right over here and change these to 240. I'm using the tab key to get to the next field, which makes it easier. And I'm going to go 100, and I'm going to go 30, just like that, and click OK. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to save it. And there it is. Now let's go ahead and save this one. Check it out. This one's changed. This one's changed. This one's changed down here because they are all the same file. PlayFest, it could be in a million places, but it's the one file that controls and reflects what we see inside of Photoshop. That's why this is so powerful. Now, we've had an advantage in one respect. we've had the documents open. But what if you had 50 or 60 documents that was using the same image or asset? You wouldn't have them all open, would you? So let me show you a different way to kind of look at this. Let me go ahead and save this one. And let's go ahead and save this one too. And I'm going to close this one. So that one's not open, but they both have a share on wild leaves. Let me close this up. I'm going to go into band logo right here. And that again is linked. So I'm going to select it, open up my properties, and say edit contents. Let's take the word wild and let's change it to that same color that I changed the letter F to. And let's go ahead and double click here. Okay, let's come over here, type in 240, tab 100, tab 30. Click OK. Let's go into our FX button down here and let's put a stroke on the word wild, just something small like about 3. Let's see what that looks like. That's not too bad. And let's go ahead and put that on the inside. Click OK. Save it. Now it's reflected here, isn't it? Well, let me go ahead and open up the other one. Now I'm going to drag it over from my other screen. See, this one didn't change because it wasn't open. If it's open, it's automatic. It's going to change it. If it's not open, it's going to ask you, do you want to change it? So if I come down here, you can see the word changed 1. So it's giving me a visual that something needs changing. But if we come back over here and we go ahead and close footer and we get into band logo, you can see down here that the logo has changed to a warning indicating that it is modified. 1 is changed. Oh, incidentally, the reason I've got missing 0 and changed 1 down here is because I've chosen Smart Objects right there. Very easy to do. Come up to the word layer, go down to Smart Objects, and just say basically update. There you go. Now let's look at one more thing here. Let me go back to this one. Let me go ahead and close some stuff down and open some others. Notice the icon right here. That is an embedded smart object. Now, if I select it, it says up here embedded, not linked. But if I say edit contents, it functions a lot like a linked smart object. It's got layers. Could put it into a black and white mode if we want to. Save it, take it back. It's going to work. But the difference is because it's embedded, it only works in this one document. If I have this particular image embedded in 15 documents, and I make a change to this one, it's not going to change the other 15. And you make a decision that, oh man, I should have done that because it's going to be so much easier if they're linked as opposed to embedded. What do? Let's get out of here and let's save it. And if I turn off the overlays here, you can see it did indeed turn it into grayscale. Is it possible to convert something to linked? And yes, it is. You have a button right here, convert to linked. Now, it first has to be a smart object. But if I click this button, it will say, what do you want to name it? And where do you want to put it? And if I name it the same name as the layer, it will save it. I can then use that document and go in link in other documents, and then changing that one would change them all. Conversely, if you have something linked, you could later on embed it if you want to do that too. But the control that you have when you're working with these smart objects is absolutely amazing. Now, there is one more thing to consider. If we move this document, or if we move the files that they're associated with, it's possible you might see missing down here has a 1 or a 2. So in other words, if I go into the original folder where the links are and pull them out, well, it won't have access to them anymore. If that happens, no big deal. But if that happens, go up to the word layer on the pull-down menu and go down to Smart Objects and choose Resolve Broken Link. Now that means you're going to have to find where the original is. That's up to you. One more thing. If you go up to the word File, we have a package option here. Well, you're going to move this. It's going into post-production. It's going to be printed. Are you sure you have all the files and everything necessary for them to make this work? Package. You click it. It will ask you where you want to put it. The name will be the name of the document. You will have a folder, and inside that folder will be everything necessary to make this work. It's pretty cool. It's a new feature. Let's get out of here. Linked smart objects, to me, are an amazing feature. They can really help you get more efficient, but they can guarantee consistency at the same time. So don't forget you've got them. Don't forget to check out some of our other great learning resources on the Creative Cloud site. I'll be seeing you around.